Hi guys! I have such an exciting announcement, and you've probably already guessed what it is because I'm wearing it, and it's my new merchandise collection with Crowdmade. Crowdmade is the same company that does merchandise for so many YouTubers, including Simply No Logical, Guava Juice, and Crazy Russian Hacker. So it was a huge honor for me to be able to work together with them.
Just click the link under this video to get to my store. All the shirts are printed and shipped from the United States, so it's cheapest for people living there, which is also where the majority of my viewers come from. However, they also deliver worldwide, so it's not a problem if you live somewhere else. In this video, I'll show you how I put together each design, so you guys know that every tiny bit of my merchandise was created with love. I also decided to stay away from branding it with my channel, but rather going for designs that appeal to everyone. My first idea, of course, was to make slime shirts. This is obviously so popular, but strangely enough, there are almost no products that feature slime imagery. By this I mean things like t-shirts, notebooks, cards, or prints, where you can actually express your love for this hobby and find other people who feel the same way. Slime is really beautiful to look at, hence the reason why it's so popular on Instagram, so I thought it has to work if you put this design onto other products. Since it's actually quite difficult to get good photos of slime, I simply decided to paint 3 well-known types. The one I'm working on right now is obviously a fluffy slime. I started by sketching out a design on canvas, and then I used red, white, and yellow acrylic paint to create this bubblegum pink color. A fluffy slime ball has this extremely unique texture, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. This was the hardest of all 3 slimes to paint since there's so much detail and shading. The closest thing I can compare this to is painting hair on manga characters. For those who don't know, I used to be a manga artist, and here are some of my artworks from way back. Painting this slime actually brought back memories of creating hair for these illustrations. And this is how the finished fluffy slime looks. For the second one, I'm going to make a Floam ball. This has a very different texture, which is quite fun to paint. The tricky part here was painting the balls in slightly different tones of blue, so it looks like they're covered by an uneven layer of translucent slime. This one was directly inspired by my second Instagram slime video here. I took turns adding light and dark colors to bring out the texture of the tiny foam balls. Once I was happy with how this looked, I worked on the shading until everything was nice and smooth. I was very happy with how this turned out because it forms a very nice contrast to the other 2 slimes. So for the final slime, we're going to make a clear lilac. This one was actually the easiest and quickest to paint. I created a water drop texture using purple paint, taking care to leave out white spaces for the highlights. The finishing touch comes when adding some pure titanium white. Just like my bubble video, I created a tiny reflection that looks like a curved window, and this really gives the impression that the slime looks shiny and transparent. Then I simply scanned all 3 paintings and then adjusted the design a bit more in Photoshop. I basically wanted to create a shirt that sends a secret signal to everyone else who loves slime. They'll immediately recognize what it is. However, at the same time, this shirt is simple and stylish enough to be combined with almost any outfit. The second design I created for my shirts is this flower crown koala, which you've definitely seen from Macaroon's profile picture. First, I sketched everything using a 3mm mechanical pencil. These habits are all left over from my comic artist days when I used to draw so much, up to 8 or 10 hours a day. A mechanical pencil is a lifesaver because it's always thin and you don't have to waste time sharpening them. I also love using putty rubbers because these don't create any dust and they also help you save more time when working. I want the koala to be wearing a Snapchat flower crown, so I'm actually using this one which I made last year for a video. Drawing everything from scratch gives me a lot more control over the placement of the flowers and how I can color them later on. Next, I'm going to outline everything using 1mm black fine liners. My favorite brand is this one called Stettler because the nibs are long and thin, so you can see a lot of the paper around it. This really helps you stay in place when inking complicated details. After the outlines are complete, I scanned the drawing and opened it up in Photoshop. I'm going to color this one digitally using a typical manga illustration method. First, I placed each color onto a different layer to make it easier to edit. I decided to make this koala a bit paler than the one from the emoji, so it matches the softer colors of the flowers. I played around with the colors a bit more until I ended up with this vaporwave inspired palette. Then I filled in all the details and added shading and highlights to the eyes and nose. And lastly, I colored in some of the black outlines to make the flowers look more natural. I really love how this koala turned out, so that's obviously why I'm using it as my profile picture on Instagram and YouTube. So I really hope you enjoyed this little arts-inspired video on how I created my merchandise. You can check out my shop by clicking the link just below this video, and I'd love to see pictures of you guys wearing the shirts. Please tag me on Instagram so I can see them, and I'll repost as many as I can to my story. These shirts also make great gifts for anyone who loves slime, so be sure to order them in time for Christmas. This is Joanna, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!